Welcome to the Fluff. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Let's read some little SCPs. This is Halloween, let's have some little bit of fun. And a bit of spooks, of course. Okay. Alright. I completely forgot to set up. I set everything perfectly up except the SCP page. Of course! Naturally. Alright, here it is. Good. We got it open. Here the page is open. There we go. And let's get a bit of the rating from yesterday. Whew. Nice. Everything's set up. Gotta make sure that this is. Gotta make sure they feel it. That this is quiet. Okay then. You know what? Let me see. It's definitely more orange looking. Did it just change? After I clicked on that, it just changed itself. I am mighty confused. Hold on. Huh. No, we can't have any epic rap battles because that is a bit too distractive. That works. Definitely. Yeah, that works. As long as it's not too loud. Hold on a minute. It's definitely a whole different volume. Let's go here and reduce it down to this. Actually, that's not the right one. Here we go. I think that should be around a good volume because I forgot that the iTunes one is a bit louder than Spotify. So I have to make sure it's not too loud for you guys. Okay. Before I start, I actually want to check how is my other video doing, because I upload, as you all know, I upload these streams back to YouTube, and it's doing okay. It got 11 views. It's doing okay. 1 thumbs up. It's doing fine. Alright then. I would say we shall get started, shall we? Alright, a handy shortcut. Why do you have to always start with names that I cannot make any good assumptions of? A handy shortcut. Also, I need to really stop eating spicy stuff before reading these SCPs because I always end up drinking a lot of water. Okay, let's think. A handy shortcut. What if it's whenever you need a shortcut, for somehow a path opens up to, it just does, right? It just does. But because of the path, sometimes the path opens up, like for example, like I'm in the city right now. For example, you want to go straight ahead, but you can't because there's a bunch of buildings in the way, right? What if those buildings suddenly like open up and just you can lead through it, but then they don't close back again? So it's just a lot of destruction, a lot of property damage happening just for you to have a casual stroll through the city the way you want to go. That's my guess. Let's go. SCP-1130 is to be contained within a standard safe class protective storage lock at Site 12. Please be advised that D-class personnel used in testing may exhibit erratic and/or aggressive behavior when exiting. I need to reduce my volume. Never mind, I can't do that. Because the music's blasting my ear a little bit. There we go. That should be good for me. Yes. La la la. Please be advised that the D-class personnel used in testing may exhibit erratic and/or aggressive behavior when exiting -2. A team comprised of 1 medical officer with level 3 clearance and a minimum of 2 level 2 security personnel to be maintained at any test site to detain and, if necessary, sedate test subjects upon re-emergence. Security personnel thus stationed are to carry Daninject projector rifles loaded with 3 quinnucleotidyl benzylate darts. Can you just say tranquilizer darts if that's what it is? To avoid public exposure, testing is to be scheduled between the hours of 2 and 5 local time, and directions are to be only requested for suitably secluded destinations. So early in the morning, nobody around. You can test as much as you want until some drunk guy just like, hey, what is happening over here? What the hell? Civilians witnessing any aspect of testing procedures are to be detained and administered Class A amnestics prior to relocation. Considering currently archived debriefing reports and exploration logs, -2 has been designated a protein class. Protein? That's not protein. You gotta get some protein, you to get some gains, bro. But pronunciation.
Protein.
So almost like protein, but protein class dimensional anomaly, and any research or security personnel assigned to SCP-1130 are expected to be familiar with relevant guidelines. By the way, the reason why I switched from my Spotify playing to like downloading iTunes to this computer is I have a lot more songs on iTunes than I have on Spotify. I think on Spotify I have like 560 something, and on iTunes I have 1,700, which of course also is a bunch of like, you know, remixes, mashups, video game soundtracks that Spotify just doesn't have. And even though I can implement them into Spotify manually, sometimes it's they don't play because like the file might just be a bit wacky. Put aside, you know, might as well just go for the iTunes one. Of course, the only problem with iTunes one is it doesn't have the nice little scroll. I think there's a way to set it up that it does scroll the title a bit better. SCP-1130 is an interactive kiosk providing 3 directions from a... Oops, I need to put that here. There we go. It's an interactive kiosk providing 3 directions from a fixed position to any address within city limits. Its outer structure measures 50 centimeters times 50 centimeters times 175 centimeters and is composed of a unadorned sheet metal. Also, can I just check something? That sounded extremely loud on my side. The beep. A beep brand LCD touchscreen is set in the front of the kiosk at an angle, beneath which is a 25 centimeter and 2 centimeters. Oh, I got a message. Oh, that's an odd timing. Let me just... Yeah, no, okay, it is correctly set up. But that was like... Maybe because it's like that. Let me see now. That's better. Yeah, I had it set up too high by accident. A brand LCD touchscreen is set into the front of the kiosk at an angle, beneath which is a 25 centimeter times 2 centimeter slot from which the directions are dispensed. It maintains hash set in the back panel, provide access to the interior. No processing unit, power source, or printing peripheral have been found inside, and SCP-1130 appears to be fully functional without these components. A small tag in the upper right of the back panel identifies it as a model urban wayfinding unit built by the corporation in 2000. There's a footnote saying non-conclusive evidence was later found in linking the company deceased founded to Elevix Electronics, which I will quickly check if that's another SCP. Yeah, it is. One in the far future. COVID inquiries with the company have shown that while it does indeed manufacture this model, no record exists of SCP-1130 having been manufactured, assembled, or distributed. SCP-1130's primary anomalous property manifests when directions have been requested and printed. Directions obtained from SCP-1130 will invariably instruct subjects to leave established routes and make use of a door described as Maintenance Portal 26 Sigma. This sounds like Wrong Turn all over again, referred to as -1, which is kind of ironic because, like, in Wrong Turn, technically, the very first movie, when he goes to ask for directions, I don't think it's a kiosk or a gas station, but it's definitely he definitely asked an old man there, like, hey, where can I go? And I'm pretty sure he was drinking something there, and then he's like, oh, just take a left. It takes the form of a severely weathered arch metal door and has never been observed to be in the same location twice, even when the same routine is requested. Now I wonder if I go here and press this. Yeah, it works, okay. But let's go for something. There we go, Boogie Wonderland. Why not? Why not? It takes the form of a severely weathered arch metal door and has never been observed to be in the same location twice, even when the same is requested multiple times. -1 does not exist in its prescribed location prior to the production of direction by SCP-1130. Multiple subjects following the same set of directions will be able to find and make use of the same door until it closes. At that point, -1 will vanish from sight and subjects left behind will be unable to follow the directions any further. If directions are photocopied, -1 will only appear when following the original specimen. -1 can be recorded by all present when encountered, and visual reproduction will show -1 as encountered by subjects following directions. Okay, whew. I don't know how I would feel if I would go any direction and say go through a door. I don't know. It just feels odd. If I'm like, hey, I want to go there, it's like, yeah, just go left, go right, go a little bit straight ahead, and then you see a door. Go through that door. And you're like, pardon, you want me to go through a door? And he's like, yeah. Did I misspoke? Did I stutter? Go through that door. Just do it. And you're like, am I about to get kidnapped? And he's like, no, of course not. Well, that would be that. Those subjects who successfully follow directions to their destination remain suitable for the debriefing report -1, vanishing behind them once inside. That's fantastic. You love it when you walk through a door and then you turn around and the door is just gone. Don't you like that? Check out them lights. Yeah, check them out. Look at them. Look at them. And I can change them too. Look, I'll show you the power. Right now I set it to Halloween, but I can, of course. Yesterday was this. It was nice red, and like when you and I play together, it's gonna be a nice blue. And yeah, I'm looking forward to play around with this thing. But for now, let's set it to unlimited power. Exactly. You know it. You know what's up. Wait a minute. Something's not quite up correctly though. Where's the chat on on here? Don't tell me it has to. Nice game setup. Thank you. Hey Anon, thank you. You're welcome back, Anon. Welcome back. Wait a minute, guys. I just realized that for some reason your text is set to white, so nobody can see what you're saying. Font settings. I don't have no idea how that happened. Say something again, please, while I'll read this further. And also tell me if the music's too loud, too quiet, anything like that. Yeah, and also any feedback that I need to hear while reading this. Where were we? All subjects have described a consistent. Managing back. Yeah. Additionally, subjects describe having to traverse a space composed of up to kilometers of interconnected halls, rooms, and tunnels, designated -2 before finding themselves before -1 again. Spaces encountered are always in a severe state of disrepair and do not seem to be linked in a logical fashion. One test subject reported stepping from what seemed to be abandoned subway tunnel into the kitchen of a derelict fast food diner. I just realized something. I need to check something here. If I go to my big head setting, you guys have no music. That is okay. Because whenever I switch back and forth, that's when the music's on. Okay, let me just. Can I copy? Go to big head. Paste. Does that work? Oops. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. It doesn't do it for some odd reason. Okay, let me just really quickly add that. Audio output. Is it an audio output? I have actually, yeah, it is. Add source, there we go. Same with big head. Very big head for all the reaction purposes. I should also, like, you know, add all the alerts. I'll do that another time, but now we're good. Text whitewashing real stream sounds good, by the way. Thank you very much. Yeah, text whitewashing is real. But wait, is the text now? What the hell? What is happening? Okay, wait, hold on. Chat box. It's still not. Wait, hold on. Test. Okay, now it works. Apparently. I guess because I was away? Well, that's odd. That it just doesn't show it when I come back. I guess yeah, it makes sense, I guess, at the end, but yeah, okay, where were we? Of interconnected halls, rooms of tunnels designated -2 before finding themselves before -1 again. Spaces encountered are always in a severe state of disrepair and do not seem to be linked in a logical fashion. One test subject reported stepping from what seemed to be an abandoned subway tunnel into a kitchen of their fast food diner. All subjects have described a consistent auditory phenomenon while in -2, but at this point in time its source is unclear. The briefings and post-event psychological evaluation reveal test subjects seem to develop a persistent sense of being pursued, growing strong as the time spent in -2 and this phenomenon increases. Extended exposure may lead to development of psychological trauma depending on the mental and emotional stability of test subjects. After exiting -2, subjects find themselves at their destination. So it is a handy shortcut. They didn't lie. They did not lie. But apparently you have to walk a lot more distance than what you expect. I mean, I assume wherever you want to go is what you plan to be in a walking distance until you walk through that door and you're like, well, great, now I gotta walk like 10 kilometers of tunnels for whatever reason. Test results indicate that on average 11 to 23 seconds lapse between subjects entering and exiting -2. However, this does not take into account the time subjects spend in transit, which may range from several hours to several weeks. Okay, so I mean, at the end, I would say if you pack food with you and water, or bring a bike. It's a door, right? So you can fit a bike through it. And then just pack like a backpack full of food and water, just to be sure. And then just... And then you'll be at your destination in 11 seconds. But at the same time, I guess like the exhaustion is not worth saving time, is it? It's not really... Like imagine you're like, oh, okay, if I have 5 minutes to get to the work. If I get a shortcut, I can spend like a couple hours walking, maybe sit down a little bit, read a book, and then sleep on bring a sleeping bag, and then arrive at the job like fully refreshed. But of course, they would also wonder like, why the hell do you have a whole camp equipment with you? So yeah, I guess it's not really worth it. However, this is communication of any kind with subjects in transit has proven to be impossible. GPS located signals give test subjects location upon entering -2 as redacted. This does not change until test subjects emerge from -2. Audio and video recording devices function normally but will not transmit data while in -2. This necessitates personal recording devices to be worn by test subjects. Okay, Addendum A1, recovery and preliminary containment notes. Okay, here we go. SCP-1130 was retrieved from its location in after a number of documented disappearances amongst tourists. Officials were only able to locate one missing individual who was found wandering through a gated community 7 kilometers from SCP-1130's location. By the way, Anand, I have a question for you. And I hope I'm not being pushy. How come I never see you in any of my other streams, like Wednesday and Thursday and Friday? Is it just because you don't have time? Or like is it just out of pure disinterest? Like I won't be offended whatever the answer is. I understand that the SCP thing is what you know me for, but I'm just saying, like, why not hop by with any of the other streams sometimes? SCP-1130 was retrieved from a location in after a number of documented disappearances amongst tourists. Officials were only able to locate one missing individual who was found wandering. I know I read this already, but I already forgot. But I found wandering through a gated community 7 kilometers from SCP-1130's location. On his person were the directions requested from SCP-1130 and what was later identified as a Queen Elizabeth M17 steel helmet. Okay, the Foundation was altered when details of the case triggered a dedicated monitoring station and a recovery team led by Agent moved to secure SCP-1130. The tourist was located and was administered Class A amnestics. SCP-1130 was removed from its position outside the subway station by the recovery team posting as a municipal work crew. Addendum time schedule, busy all week, and even in those ones I've had to leave early quite a few times. No, I get that. Yeah, that's how life is, eh? I'm honestly, you've been one of the most reoccurring next to Luxembourg, Lexi. You've been the most reoccurring person on my streams, which are always like, you know, it's very joyful for me to like see that you enjoy watching my stuff. And of course, like Seabass with the raids is also always very, very welcome. But then like it is a shame sometimes when I have like multiple weeks of like nobody watching it and I'm just like, oh. But yeah, no, I get it. Busy time schedule. That all happens. Alright, and then to a partial transcript of the log file 1123T14/73299. Personnel involved in test Dr. D73299. The following is a partial video and audio transcript for the log file 1130T14/73299. Before testing commenced, subject was given directions to street as provided by SCP-1130. Subject received MRE rations, including the necessary FRH packets and enough water for 7 days. Head-mounted video and personal audio recording devices were checked and found functioning with expected parameters. Transcript, begin video and audio log transcript. Okay, so we have the doctor. Jim, are we recording? A muffled reply can be heard from behind the camera. Okay then, turns to D73299. Now, could you please state your name and designation for us? Who, me? My name is, and my denim is, 73299. Thank you. Now, we provided you with the directions and supplies. We'd like you to provide us with a running commentary while you're in there. Can you do that? I guess. And I won't be able to talk, to you guys, right? That's correct. But we'll be recording everything you see and hear. Dorsal. Get right in there, boy! What, are you scared that you're gonna be gone for weeks? Just get in there! It's an adventure. Please enter. We'll shut the door after you, so don't worry about that. I hope you guys know what you do. Hey, watch it! D73299 is helped into -2 by security personnel present. The sound of the door slamming shut can be heard, followed by the subject's muttering obscenities. Subject turns around and appears to be searching for -1, which is no longer visible. Subject switches on head-mounted LED light and looks around. This reveals what appears to be the interior of a World War II era submarine. A submarine. I don't know why, but in the moment I read submarine, I had to think of that one video. Lexi, you maybe know it because Aaron from Game Grumps has quoted it a couple of times. It's that one video where it's animated on YouTube, and it's that one scene where it's Halloween, and then you're like, oh, old grandma comes out. It's like, oh, it's you, and you brought some lovely people, and lovely kids. And he's like, yes. How about you kids tell you what you are to the lovely lady? And then the girl's like, I'm a princess. And he's like, oh, a princess. Oh my. And what are you? And the kid is like, the boy's like, a marine biologist. And he's like, a marine biologist. And then he just puts his face through their heads, he just squeezes it through their heads, hoorah. And I don't know why the word submarine made me go submarine. Hoorah. A marine biologist. Hoorah. Jesus, where the hell am I? Subject surveys his surroundings. Small pools of water can be seen all along the deck. The left side of the small elongated space seems to be filled with a set of bunks. Blankets lie on rusted metal carts. To the right is a long rusty metal wall sectioned off by bulkheads. In front of subject is a small door with a lock wheel. Water seems to be continuously dripping from the ceiling and walls. Okay. Gotta breathe. Gotta just keep breathing. So you want me to talk? Looks like a boat or something. Things rusted and there are many benefits to being a marine biologist, yeah. Things rusted and filthy, but I guess you can see that. There's some kind of sign here. Let me get in a bit closer. Turns around. It's a megalodon! They just looks through the window. It's just a megalodon's shit! Subject steps. What is this? I can close that now. I forgot about this. There we go. Subject steps around the water on the floor. A rusty metal sound comes into view. No idea what the hell kind of language that is. Might be French. I can't even pronounce it. Anyway, Cam must be recording it, so you figure it out. Post-event observation sign read, Achtung, Rauchen verboten. That's German, you dipshit. French is a thing you can at least, recognize to a certain extent. So you should know that was not French, but who knows. Subject suddenly turns around, obviously agitated. God damn, what was that? I think I heard, oh no. Is there something in with them in the shortcut? That would suck. Post-event observation. The analysis of recorded audio does not indicate as audible sound. It seemed to be coming from right behind. There it is again. What the hell is that? Subject runs towards the door and attempts to turn the wheel. Subject can be heard grunting and swearing. Post-event observation. At this point in the recording, a faint background audio signal is backed up. Analysis pending. He's like, "What is that? What is that noise?" And it's just the old guy from the video. A marine biologist. Hoorah! Hoorah! that noise? At this point in the recording, a faint background audio signal is picked up, and now suspending. It sounds like teeth. Subject manages to open the door and slips through before hurriedly pulling it closed behind him. Subject stands with his back to the door, shaking. A room is dimly visible behind the beam of the subject's LED light. Several hospital beds seem to be scattered around the room. The rings are boiled up tightly. Huh? Where'd the boat go? Goddamn, where am I? Subject takes a few steps before abruptly standing still. I'm hearing it again, but I closed the fucking door. No, I closed it! Subject breaks into a room towards the other end of the room, tripping over a fallen IV stand, sobbing can't be heard. And video audio log transcript. That is brutal. You are alone in a dark submarine, potentially. The door you came from is gone. You cannot communicate with the people that you are connected via audio and video log. And next thing you know, behind you just hear like teeth. He doesn't say like how it sounds. Like he didn't say like if it's grinding or if it's chattering. But like, or if it sounds like it's eating something, like nothing. And he just goes through one door, closes the one he came from, but he keeps on still hearing it. He's all by himself, and he doesn't know how long he has to go to just get out of the situation. It's messed up. D73299 emerged from the side of the building close to his target destination at 7321. Does it say here when he stepped in? No. It doesn't say. Subject was in a state of confusion and panic, showing signs of severe malnutrition. So he was in there for quite some time. Subject did not respond to instructions and attempted to leave the test site. Yeah, of course he wanted to leave the test site. He was probably either A, actually getting chased by something, or he thought he was getting chased by something for multiple hours. Potentially days. He was subsequently neutralized by security personnel and detained for debriefing. Post-event physical and psychological evaluation determined the amount of time spent in -2 to be between 2 and 4 weeks. In addition, subject appeared to have pulled all of his own teeth with a pair of pliers recovered from -2. I was just commit die. Yeah, I mean this sounds extremely brutal to go through, and he pulled his own teeth out, which I'm not sure. Like, I wonder if for him, if that like led to him be like, oh, now I don't hear it anymore, or if after that he still heard it. Can you imagine doing all that just to still hear the sound that drove you insane to begin with, and you just there like, well, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go from here on out. Jesus. The Oscar bug. Now I'm thinking of the Oscars, Oscar as in like the statue that filmmakers get. So I imagine it's a bug that bites you, and then you have the sudden urge to win an Oscar. Or it bites you and you become the Oscar statue. You just or maybe the bug is just a really good actor. That freaked me out just by scrolling by real quick. I was just like, oh, there's a bug there, nice. And then that man just stared at me. Oh yeah, by the way, I got a message that I need to listen to real quick. It's a minute long. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay, here we go. Instances of SCP-1131 brought into captivity are to be kept in a 1 meter cubed acrylic vivariums for the remainder of their lives, usually no more than a few weeks. Backstreet Boys, this is not the time to sing. This is about some sort of weird bug. Well, maybe you don't want it that way, to be honest. Persons affected by SCP-1131, given the group designation -1, are to be kept in a standard persons holding cell for further research. Foundation personnel stationed in places where instances of SCP-1131 have manifested should wear insect repellent containing p-methane 3,8-diol at all times. Personnel entering on an SCP-1131 containment unit must wear a full-level a hazardous materials suit. Any bites made by SCP-1131 on any person must be noted, and any persons bitten must immediately be detained. And here we have an instance of SCP-1131 initiating a feeding sequence. It just looks like a mosquito, to be honest, in a spider web. If there's a mosquito in a spider web and somebody caught that, I hope that mosquitoes suffered. The mosquitoes are the only thing that I, as an animal or insect, absolutely despise. Flies can be annoying, and sometimes I kill them, but mosquitoes, I'm just like, I wish I could eradicate the whole species. That's the only thing on this planet Earth that I'm just like, okay, and parasites, to be honest. Parasites as well. But I don't really consider parasites animals. I think they're their own thing. Gets bitten by a bug and gets a horrible infection. I want it that way. SCP. I love the fact that I actually got to make to have my own. To add music to streams nowadays. SCP-1131 is a member of the species Culiseta longiareolota and appears under direct observation as a normal specimen of that species. Okay, we gotta look up what the fuck that means, because it doesn't say, it doesn't give us in normal English what it is, so it's a mosquito. So I was right, it's a fucking mosquito. Perish. It appears under direct observation as a normal specimen of that species. Instances of SCP-1131 range in size, but are on average approximately 8 mm long and weigh on average 1.7 milligrams. Instances of SCP-1131 refuse to feed from animals other than mammals. SCP-1131, oh, this is a different version of Boogie Wonderland. We had Boogie Wonderland a moment ago, but this is different. SCP-1131 appears to be of intelligence limited to its species and acts on instinct alone. Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. Not that loud. Okay. What was it again? 25? I think that was what it was. When a female SCP-1131 bites a mammal, the affected person, not gonna lie, it slaps. It does, right? DJ Comabond has managed to combine, so like on TikTok he makes a lot of shorter ones, but he has a couple actual full mashup videos on his channel. And this is one of them, and it's pretty good. The affected person or animal immediately given the designation -1 begins a physical transformation lasting several days. First, the subject loses consciousness and enters a comatose state. Then, beginning at the site of the bite, the tissues of -1 begin to change, starting with the dermis and progressing inward toward muscular and skeletal structures. All subjects take on the same physical appearance and attributes, that of a Caucasian human male named Oscar. All subjects take on the same physical appearance and attributes of a Caucasian human male named Oscar Pelchuk, age 50. You become another person. You have the whole scene from Harry Potter 7 where all of them became Harry. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. I'm aware, Oscar. Every full moon I transform into this man. Subjects usually awaken within 24 hours of the completion of this transformation. Subjects affected by SCP-1131 are indistinguishable from each other after the completion of this transformation. All subjects claim to be Oscar Belchuk and show signs of distress upon awakening. Oh god. You don't transform into somebody, you become the person. When asked for the last moment calendar date, subjects offer September 5th, 1968. If two or more members of -1 are introduced, they will all claim the other or others to be imposters and become distressed with the presence of the other or others. You say that, but if you see like 10 of yourselves, wouldn't you like question it a bit more than just say the imposters? You know what I mean? If I woke up and I was in a room with 8 more versions of me, I'd be like, the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't go around and be like, you guys are all fake. You know, what am I, Child the Hedgehog? I wouldn't go around and be like, faker. I would just be like, I'd be like, this is odd. This is weird, kind of scary. If 2 or more members of -1 are introduced, they will all claim the other to be they become distressed with it. If this encounter is allowed to escalate, these arguments will become heated, but no subjects will resort to physical violence due to self-proclaimed pacifism. Well, that pacifism doesn't really do much if you are immediately. I mean, okay, it does. Never mind. It is unknown how many instances of SCP-1131 exist. When instances of SCP-1131 breed, not all of offspring less than 1% exhibit SCP-1131's effect. There does not, at this time, appear to be any way to preserve the effects of SCP-1131. No. SCP-1131 was recovered in Massachusetts, when an embedded Foundation agent noticed several discrepancies in local vital records. Of note was the fact that an individual named Oscar Belchuk had multiple vital records indicating date of death, but all had been redacted by local authorities. The life insurance company had investigated Oscar Belchuk multiple times, and criminal charges for insurance fraud were filed in 1969, but ultimately were not pursued due to lack of evidence. As I said, I'm not going to play epic rap battles because that's a bit too distractive. I know that a lot of songs can be distractive that I'm playing right now, but I feel like rap battles are like, that's even I would then like listen to that more. But ultimately we're not pursued due to lack of evidence. Yeah. If I had a nickel for every anomalous disease that turned you into one specific dude, I would have 2 nickels, not a lot, but it sucks from the offers that it happened twice. Yeah. No, that didn't transform somebody, that they split into 2 versions of themselves when they died. I don't think I've seen, or I don't think I read the other one yet, where they transform into a different dude, maybe. Unless I did and I completely forgot. The only birth record of Oscar Belchuk was issued in 1911 at Memorial Hospital. The first, and here we have Oscar Belchuk, a member of -1 after arrest for insurance fraud, January 1960. Man, those glasses really make him look more menacing. The first death certificate of Oscar Belchuk was issued by the same hospital in September 7th, 1968, with the cause of death listed as redacted. It is hypothesized that this is the original Oscar Belchuk, and the subject identified in these records was given the designation -0. Are the mosquitoes basically just Jurassic Park mosquitoes? As in, like, you know how like in Jurassic Park it was like, yes, we found these mosquitoes like in this amber like tree saps from back in the day, and they have DNA of dinosaurs. So now we can use that to clone dinosaurs. And basically, is that basically what this is? Is that what this is? It's just Jurassic Park with a human being. instead of from the scratch, from the ground up cloning a person, it just takes over a whole body Furthermore, forensic analysis of the body indicates that some physical damage, namely skeletal scarring from broken wrist, examined to be several decades old at the time of death, exists in all members of Dash 1 as well. Dash 0 was married at the time of his death to Mary Pelchuk, who now deceased. If she was alive now, still, I mean, he is apparently 57, so it makes sense that she would not be alive. Currently, records indicate 47 separate instances of Dash 1, of which 4 are still alive, currently detained at site. No members of Dash 1 retain any recollection of their experiences of past members of this group. Addendum A, once SCP-1131 initiates a feeding sequence, that does not appear to be anything which will reverse, hinder, or stop its effect, including lacerations of affected skin, amputation, or death. Addendum B, list of known individuals affected by SCP-1131. Data expunged. Addendum C, transcript video interview with a member of Dash 1. Interviewed Dash 1. Doctor. Clearance level 2. 1131 dash. I assume this was the SCP numbers, right? Yeah, they are. Okay. Dash 1 sits on camera in an orange jumpsuit, sipping on a cup of coffee. Doctor, there's another which is pretty much identical to this one. Different dude in sports instead of bug bites, but the effect is the exact same. Gotcha. I don't like if it's I'm not sure if you can find that. If you can find a number, but I don't think I read something like that yet. Please state your name for the record. My name is Oscar Pelchuk. I've told you that before. What's the last thing you remember before waking up at this facility, Mr. Pelchuk? Well, I just got off of work and I called a cab to get home. I got in the cab and the driver was jabbing at me and I wasn't paying attention too much. Then I got home, said goodnight to the missus, read a book, got in bed, and woke up here. Did you experience any sort of discomfort at the time? Any itching or burning sensation in your skin like those from an animal bite? Not that I remember. Can I go now? I ain't done nothing wrong. I got a wife to get back to, you know. I'm sorry, Mr. Pelchuk, you will not be allowed to leave. Why? I ain't done nothing wrong. I've got rights, you know. End of log. We all have rights, my good friend. We all have rights. But the SCP Foundation would argue that SCPs don't. They don't have rights. Snake tongue. Okay. I imagine it's an SCP that just causes your tongue to just split. Brutally. Not at all comfortably. It just makes your tongue split. You touch it, or you inhale it, or you're just in the vicinity and next thing you know your tongue just opens up. It's considered safe, so maybe not. I mean, unless it's a certain radius. Also, this is a very short one, damn. SCP-1132 is to be kept in a standard living quarters, furnished with a bed and appropriate religious icon. A facial restraint will be supplied to SCP-1132 to be worn at all times when interacting with personnel. This restraint must cover the mouth completely and immobilize the lower jaw. So, okay, it looks like the person, maybe the person has a snake tongue. Who knows? To facilitate personnel safety, entrance to SCP-1132's chamber should be announced by voice or knocking to give the subject time to don the facial restraint. Should it not, also they have to don it themselves. Should it not currently be in use. Should the restraint become dislodged for any reason, unarmed personnel are to maintain a minimum distance of 1 meter from the subject until the restraint has been replaced. The subject is to be fed one freeze-dried mouth. Wait, hold on. To facilitate personal safety, entrance to it should be announced before voice or knocks to give the subject time to don. Okay. Subject is to be fed one freeze-dried mouse, rehydrated once per day in its cell. Subject is allowed limited escort sojourns in the facility where it is housed. Efforts to teach SCP-1132 English have been hindered by the subject's illiteracy. Until subject has learned to understand spoken English and or to write in any language, one member of personnel assigned to SCP-1132 is to be fluent in the Eastern Huasteca dialect of modern Nahuatl. Is that how you say it? Nahuatl? Or is it Nahuatl? Wait, no. Bleh. You know what? Let's ask Google.
Nahuatl.
Nahuatl. Okay. Description. SCP-1132 is a female human of indigenous Mexican ethnicity, approximately 25 years of age. The subject's tongue, esophagus, stomach, and both intestines have been replaced by a female Bothrops asper, Ferdinand or Noyaka, leaving only 6 centimeters of the subject's own rectum intact. Can some SCPs do it when they give it the Latin name? Pit viper. There we go. That's all I needed to know. Sometimes SCP Foundation logs like they give like the Latin names for the animals, but then they don't say shit like how what it actually is in regular English, and some do not. Like some do, some do not. Is what I want to say. Living on 6 yeah. The connection between the reptile and the subject's digestive system is seamless. Due to its condition, SCP-132 cannot speak, though it breathes normally. The subject lacks a uterus, though no sign of hysterectomy or other surgery is present. How the uterus was removed has not yet been determined. Approximately 0.6 and 0.7 meters of snake lie coiled where the subject's stomach should be, giving the snake the ability to launch out of the subject's mouth. Oh, I thought the person's like mouth and all that was just a snake, and the head was like still human, and the rest of the body was still human. But the snake can come out. Okay, that's something whole different. So long as the subject's mouth is closed, the snake will not force its way out. Oh, I get it now. Okay, the tongue is a snake. Okay, it's okay, basically like the xenomorphs, where like when they open the mouth and a little small xenomorph head just like comes out. I see now. Okay, I'm now up to date. Aside from its anomalous state and length far exceeding what is typical for B. asper, the reptile is otherwise a normal member of its species, possessing a venomous bite and treating SCP-132 as territory to be defended. Its eating seems to provide sustenance for both itself and SCP-132, and it must eat at a rate greater than normal for a snake, but less than that of a human. So like an in-between, huh? On the rare occasion that SCP-132 is bitten by the snake, the subject will fall into a coma for a period of time between 1 hour and 1 day. Treatment with antivenom can wake the subject prematurely, but is counter-indicated as the snake remains active and unrestrained during these periods. The subject describes these periods as being like dreamless sleep and reports no other physical side effects other than pain and swelling from the fang punctures. Interviews with the subject have consisted of yes and no question, and as such, information on the origin of its condition has been difficult to gather. Upon recovery in Hidalgo, Mexico, persons familiar with SCP-132 stated in interviews that they believe the subject had been punished for defiling a sacred relic said to belong to the Aztec goddess Quetzalcoatl and had been cast out from the tribal society for the transgression. Testing of fragments of the objects in question reveals no anomalous properties. God, imagine you can't kiss anybody. You can't. It's impossible. Because if you try to kiss, especially if you try to French kiss someone, snake. Damn, okay. Forever alone. Intravenous. What's intravenous mean? Sin. Dulce Candela.
Intravenous. Intravenous.
Intravenous. Intravenous sin. Okay, and meaning? Come on, there we go. Existing or taking place within or administered into a vein or veins. I have no idea what to do with this. I feel like intravenous. It's curious how, depending on the offer, the Foundation either treats humanoids fairly decently or has them in total restraints and solitary confinement. I know it's a headcanon thing, but it's kind of funny. Imagine the ethics committee flipping a coin to decide who deserves human rights and who doesn't. Yeah, it's like I always said that, like, from reading the 1,130 true SCPs so far, there's so many moments where the SCP Foundation treat, like, especially like the victims, very harshly, and I'm just like, can you just be at least a little bit understanding from where the victims coming from? They don't know what the hell is going on. It's just like, yeah, it definitely has been flip-flopping a little bit, as you said, depending on the writer. I have no idea what the intravenous sin could be. SCP-1133 is to be kept within a secured testing chamber at site equipped with one standard power socket. Samples of SCP-1133-X should be stored in an on-site bio-research vault. Both should be guarded by a minimum of one armed personnel at all times in order to prevent unauthorized access. SCP-1133 resembles an ordinary hospital standard intravenous fluid stand. Only the infusion pump displays any anomalous properties. The tube, stand, power supply, and intravenous strip bags are entirely ordinary and can be replaced. With the exception of the tubes passing through the infusion pump, all openings on the device are fused shut, including the rear battery compartment, requiring that SCP-1133 be connected to a standard power socket at all times. All attempts at opening SCP-1133 have so far failed, as the casting has proved remarkably resilient, such that the force required to penetrate the casing would likely cause irreparable damage to its internal components. As a result, internal examination has been postponed until primary research is complete. If it's literally sin injected into your veins, maybe. It is an IV stand. It's a fluid stand, so maybe that's what it is. The console of SCP-1133 possesses 9 buttons not present on a normal infusion pump. The first 7 are labeled with a corresponding number, and the final 2 with the words extract and infuse. Extract your sins. Extract and infuse respectively. The remainder of SCP-1133's control are non-functional. When supplied with power, SCP-1133 will display the message select operation settings, at which point either extract or infuse must be selected, after which SCP-1133 will activate if it is connected to a living human subject. If SCP-1133 is connected to a cadaver or any non-human species, SCP-1133 will display the message Operation failed and shut down. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. If the extract setting is selected, one of the number buttons must be selected. This will cause SCP-1133 to begin extracting a substance hereafter known as -X from the subject, the sense, corresponding to the number chosen. Imagine imagine if you had a crazy religious person, they would abuse this. Get rid of your sins. Selecting Selecting the infuse option will result in the pump functioning as would be expected infusing the substance placed in the drip bags into the subject's bloodstream. Only -X can be infused in this way. The use of any other substance will result in the message. Oh, I already read that. Fuck. Sorry. Excuse me. No, I did not. Operation failed. It just has Operation failed multiple times. Both at the almost similar place setting. Okay. -X appears to be synthesized directly from the subject's bloodstream upon extraction and breaks down almost immediately upon entering the blood during infusion, making it almost impossible to observe its impact on human physiology. However, both the infusion and extraction of SCP-1133-X produces equal and opposite changes in the behavior and morality of the subject, which are easily observable. Subjects are not normally aware of or disturbed by these changes, even when the subject had prior knowledge of SCP-1133's effect. To date, 7 different varieties of -X have been recorded, each with a distinct color and effect, and each corresponding to a specific number on SCP-1133's consoles. Samples of -X have no observable effect on the human body if administered by any means other than SCP-1133's infusion function. All attempts to synthesize -X in laboratory conditions have so far failed. For detailed analysis of -X chemical properties, please refer to document 1133-. There seems to be a limit to the quantity of each variety -X that can be extracted from any given subject, which seem to vary from individuals to individual, depending on the personality of the subject. For example, subjects with a history of kleptomania seem to have larger natural reservoirs of -X available for extraction, and requiring less -3 infusion to display more extreme symptoms. It is unknown whether an upper limit exists for the infusion of -X. Below is a list of 7 known varieties and their effects. Imagine the nurses mess up setting the IV up, and now you're just doomed to hell. Now all we gotta do is just put the IV into your arm, and you just lay there and relax. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Sure thing. Yeah. Nurse, why do I feel like I've done horrible things? Okay, so observations. -1, light green. Okay. Apple. Increased appetites. Subjects infused with sufficient quantities of -1 are unable to resist the compulsion to consume any form of food in the immediate area, including those normally repulsive to humans, including rotten fruit, raw meat, and animal feed. Subjects will frequently become violent when denied food. Several D-class subjects infused with -1 have died as a result of choking or, in extreme cases, of stomach ruptures caused by the sheer quantity consumed. That can happen. Oh, okay. In small amounts, -1 infusion has proved to improve the symptoms of eating disorders such as anorexia. Extraction effect: decreased appetite. Subjects display a reduced enthusiasm for food, often forgetting to eat, even to the point of starvation, although they can typically be induced to eat without the application of force. Well, that would, if you want to lose weight, but you suffer from always eating junk, then this would help. Just be like, yeah, no, your gluttony. Is that what it is? Because there's 7 of them. The 7 deadly sins. Duh. Red, heightened stress levels and aggressive behavior. Wrath. Those infused with large quantities of -2 typically become dangerous and violent. Often becoming hostile towards Foundation personnel. Following incident 171-, any experiments involving -2 require additional 2 armed security guards at all times. Sorry. There we go. I think. Yeah. Reduce aggression and increase docile behavior. When large amounts are removed, subjects will often refuse to defend themselves, even from violent assault. Given the potential of this process to make subjects more compliant, use of -2 extraction in the interrogation or classification of troublesome personnel is being considered, pending further testing. Definitely useful to make the D class more compliant, right? So light green was gluttony, red is wrath, yellow, I assume yellow is... I don't think it's lust. I think yellow should be pride. -3 appears to influence interest in material wealth. Nope, that's greed. Yeah, it makes sense. Yellow being green, actually that makes sense, yeah. Subjects typically become obsessed with financial gain because, you know, gold is yellowish, so well, it's not yellowish, but it's like, you know, it's the closest flat color, often showing symptoms of kleptomania. Subjects exposed to higher amounts will often become violent, fixated on shiny objects such as wristwatches or metal buttons. Loss of interest, extraction, loss of interest in money and material wealth, generally becoming indifferent to material possession, as opposed to actively generous. Subjects will often show reduced understanding of money and financial issues, as well as reduced motivation for the completion of tasks with material rewards. Blue, I think blue will be. What do we have? Dark green, brown, and purple. What do we have? We went through wrath. We went through we went through wrath. We went through gluttony. We went through greed. I see dark green. I see brown. I see purple. I think blue would be pride. Increased egotism and self-confidence. Although small infusion can lead to beneficial increase in confidence, further amounts of will likely lead to narcissism and vanity, often resulting in violent attacks on any personnel the subject perceives as insulting them. Yeah, that seems to be pride. Similar to SCP-2, subjects become quiet and less assertive, although they will still defend themselves if faced with assault. Extraction of the maximum quantity of -4 has resulted in attempts suicide in of cases. Dark green, I think dark green would maybe be envy. Increased fixation on the possession, achievements, and privileges of others. Oh, yep, it's envy. With subjects often becoming to perceive all others as better off than themselves. This has frequently resulted in uncooperative and abusive behavior in subjects, although subjects are typically not violent, instead preferring acts of sabotage or indirect methods of inducing pain and distress in those around them. Subjects' disinterest in the possession of those around them. -5 extraction seems to have comparatively few detrimental effects on subjects, although there was still a high risk of psychological damage and did expunged in all cases. Brown. I don't think brown is. What is left? We had wrath. We had what is left? It's not. We had wrath already. One of sloth. I think brown sloth. Increased level. Ow, I heard. Increased level of general apathy and reduced energy, in some cases showing symptoms similar to those of moderate to severe narcolepsy. Those subjects to high enough levels of -6 enter a coma-like state, and so far no attempts by the extraction of -6 have proved successful in recovery. Increased energy levels, activity, and enthusiasm. In extreme cases, this can result in hyperactivity and symptoms comparable to attention deficit disorder. Although subjects will more commonly suffer from insomnia and mental fatigue, resulting from increased physical and mental activity. And purple is definitely lost. Increased sexual drive. In extreme cases, this results in symptoms similar to clinical hypersexuality. Subjects have frequently resorted to violence in an attempt to satisfy the resulting compulsion. We have made testing on the effects of -7 particularly troublesome. Reduced interest or sexual activity, those having the maximum amount extracted, typically become completely disinterested, in some cases repulsed by the idea of sexual intercourse. I like that. I like this one. I like this idea. Lead paint. Okay. So it's just lead that you can paint. Sometimes my creativity is not really that strong. I do apologize for that. A lot of saves in this one. SCP-1134 is contained in Volatile Item Storage Warehouse 14 in a 3 meter x 3 meter x 4 meter room with one exit consisting of a standard reinforced airtight door. All interior surfaces of the containment rooms are to be coded in -1. All interior surfaces of the containment room are to be coded in -1. So they're using the SCP to paint inside the containment room. Okay. Personnel requesting the use of -1 in containment procedures or security measures must be level 2 or above and must obtain clearance from Dr. Blank. Doctor. The fact that it's called Dr. Blank and the amount of times you have Doctor in reading this, which I used to say blank to these black boxes anyway. Like I would basically do like this. SCP-1134 is a circular polyvinyl chloride 10-gallon container and paint and primer mix bearing the label blank conglomerate. So like, yeah, reading Dr. Blank for me is a bit funny because, like I said, I used to call those black boxes blank, and there were a lot of Dr. Blanks back then. Conglomerate, no mass ballistic grade paint, colors formula 366 or 466. In the translation below the primary label, which is slightly modified traditional kanji. No such company has been located at this time. All of the writings on the drum is in this modified traditional kanji and deals with patent information and date of manufacture, noted as 4/11/2000. It is easily detached and reattached. -1 is a liquid containing in SCP-1134. It has roughly the same consistency as a high quality paint and primer mix. There are currently 8.2 gallons remaining of the original 10. The remaining liquid having been used as paint to recover or in subsequent foundation testing. -1 is a glossy violet in color. Pardon? Okay. -1 is extremely hazardous due to the anomalous qualities of the liquid. Any amount of -1 that is allowed to gain free momentum prior to surface application quickly accelerates to a uniform speed of... Let me read that again. -1 is a liquid... No. Is extremely hazardous due to the anomalous qualities of the liquid. Any amount of -1 that is allowed to gain free momentum prior to surface application quickly accelerates to a uniform speed of 490 meters per second, equivalent to a .357 Magnum handgun round. So if you take a paintbrush and you lift up the paint and you're about to just paint the wall, but then a single drop decides to just like fall off the paintbrush. It was just like goes like just bounce and doesn't bounce, just crash down into the floor at 490 meters per second. Large amounts of -1 breaks up into smaller uniform droplets measured by high-speed cameras to be oblong, 33 millimeter long, and very similar in shape to bullets. Eat lead that's what you used to say when you shoot bullets, and now it's lead paint, so the lead is bullets. Creative. That's creative. Upon impact with an unpainted surface or obstruction, -1 behaves in similar manner to a... So the moment it hits a wall that is not painted yet, it just stays. If you move the brush as to throw paint, you got yourself a mini shotgun. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Unless you've covered in that paint, then it just, I guess it bounces off of you, but it would still hurt because it would. It's still an incredible speed, right? Unlike bullets, Dash 1 does not lose energy when coming into contact with a surface or obstruction and will instead ricochet at a constant speed until making contact with Dash 1 painted surface or organic object. With a Dash 1 painted surface. Oh, never mind. I misread that before. I'm sorry. So if it hits a part of the wall that's not painted, it will create a hole in it. It looks like the stream is frozen. Not on my side. Restart the page. I'm like making contact with painted surface organic object. Once contact is made with painted surface, the ricocheting Dash 1 is absorbed into the liquid on the surface, and a corresponding increase in surface coverage can be measured. SB1134 has been demonstrated to be exempt from damage to the Dash 1. Does it work for you again? Once applied to a surface and never mind, all good, nice. In the meantime, enjoy the 80s remix of Numb. Once applied to a surface and allowed to dry, Dash 1 has been observed to be completely bulletproof. Actually, you know what? Just like with the previous song, just for a short duration. It's so funny to me to listen to that version, because it's so, you know, the lyrics are like so depressive, but the beat is so uplifting. Once applied to the surface and after dry, Dash 1 has been observed to be completely bulletproof without withstanding impact up to a 30 caliber sniper round. That is pretty good. Any surface painted with Dash 1 will be undamaged by force below 65,000 newtons. See test log 3. Applied to the side that is painted. Force applied from the other side of the surface has been met with normal resistance to for the surface up to the point at which Dash 1 forms a dry barrier. We feel that despite the obvious benefits of Dash 1, actions must be carefully regulated by the research head to the limited quantities we currently possess. 05 become so numb, I feel you there. Recovery log 1134 abstract. SB1134 was recovered on the 7th, 20th, 2004 in a warehouse belonging to. It was found, among other supplies, in the foreman's office, which appeared to be the middle of renovation. Anomalous properties were determined after recovery agent Grolson accidentally spilled a small amount of Dash 1, resulting in 4 deaths. Oh god. Oh, damn. Okay. Once again, no rap battles, please. Oh yeah, this is a good song. Okay, at first I was like a bit like, okay, what is this all about? But then I understood that what the point was is lead paint, eat lead. You would say that when you shoot people, eat lead, and then the paint, which was made out of lead, became bullets. No, I think that's pretty. It's a nice. There's a bit more to it, you know. There's a bit more to it. I like that. Okay, we reached the halfway point, guys. We reached the halfway point. Living Village. Now, all I can imagine is the monster house situation. But instead of just one house, it's the entire neighborhood. I like looking at the Twitch chat here and seeing just how awesome the Afro and the orange looks. Of course, like the Afro neon lights, they lose a bit of the color. I mean, if I did this, the neon lights would, of course, the LED lights would be a bit softer and the neon lights would be brighter. But actually, I can maybe, can I get like a good mix? Yeah. Nah, I don't think so. I think like, orange and that neon light doesn't really like work well together. So I'm just gonna keep it at max power. So yeah, I think it's just a whole village of like monster house. Okay. SCP-1134 is located within the boundaries of Site 36. A chain link fence 3 meters high has been constructed around the object and marks the boundary of the affected area. Of narrow ditch 4 meter deep has been dug parallel to and within the fence. This ditch is lined with impermeable plastic filled with dilute hydrochloric acid in order to deter expansion of SCP-1135 past the security perimeter. The area within the security perimeter is to be checked every 3 days by teams of researchers. These researchers are not required to be armed or otherwise prepared for a hostile environment, but must carry two-way radio communicators at all times while within the security perimeter and should maintain visual contact with one or more fellow researchers at all times. Any new growth or development indicative of SCP-1135, I punched the mic, activities to be noted. Should hostility on the part of SCP-1135 be encountered during an expectation, all staff within the security perimeter are to withdraw immediately. No expedition within SCP-1135 are to be mounted within 40 days of such hostile reaction unless composed entirely of D-class personnel. Any and all non-anomalous waste produced by Site 36 is to be deposited at least 20 meters within the security perimeter by D-class personnel at the beginning of each day. If this waste total less than 500 kilograms or on any given day, this amount is to be supplemented by on-site stockpiles. No attempt to damage SCP-1135 structures is to be made except in the case of a containment breach or with the permission of the site administrator of Site 36, currently Dr. I keep punching the mic. If such damage occurs, SCP-1135 is to be treated as hostile for the next 40 days. No explosive materials or items capable of major structural damage to SCP-1135 are permitted within the security perimeter without approval from the site administrator of Site 36. Which one is this one? Zero to Hero, right? Yeah, it's Zero to Hero. SCP-1135 is an isolated village in the state of India. The village was attributed to the name of prior to its acquisition by the Foundation. It contains approximately houses as well as several places of commerce and a Hindu temple. The structure of the building is unusual for the region as they are large and built with far more technologically advanced materials than other villages in the area. All buildings are fully equipped with running hot and cold water, electricity and sewage, again unusual for the area. It is unknown how the homes receive electricity as they are not connected to any form of generator, and this is considered to be an effect of SCP-1135. In addition to roads in the village and for 2 kilometers around the village are also fully paved with asphalt concrete. Investigation of the building materials reveal strands of organic fiber running through all of the buildings and any permanent fixtures in the village not introduced by an outside force. They have veins. The fiber do not ever appear to compromise the integrity of any structures. These organic fibers extend up to 3 meters below ground and form a network under the village. These fibers grow, repair themselves, and appear to absorb nutrients from the soil. As such, SCP-1135 is considered a single living organism with certain similarities to fungi. I was about to say, it sounds very much like either a plant or a mushroom. The whole village is it's just a giant mushroom. It's the Mushroom Kingdom. The true Mushroom Kingdom, of course! The fibers of SCP-1135 appear to be able to generate a wide variety of organic and non-organic materials around themselves, allowing them to generate the structures found within the village. This allows the structures to repair themselves, and periodically new buildings grow organically from the soil, maintaining structural integrity at all times during this process. Similarly, when space is limited, some structures will appear to collapse and disintegrate, the fibers within atrophying. SCP-1135 appears to... Gotta go, sorry, I watched the VOD later. Okay, just so you know, in the VOD there won't be any music, because that's how it's set up, that the music will be only for the live stream. And then once the VOD is up, the music's gonna be magically gone. So... if you see me just bumping to some tunes and you cannot hear it, that's what's going on. SCP-1135 appears to require some form of sustenance to survive, as well as absorbing water and nutrients from the soil. Noted. See ya. Thank you so much for watching. The Afro's with you. The organisms appear to consume what waste left within the boundaries of the village. Waste of all varieties left in the area affected by SCP-1135 begins to deteriorate and decompose at an extremely accelerated rate. This produces no odor and typically relieves no remains. This process does not affect living organic tissue, soil, or any object being used in some way by those within SCP-1135. It is believed that SCP-1135 converts these materials into nutrients for itself with an unknown process. If so, it is unknown how SCP-1135 differentiates between waste and other matter. If SCP-1135 goes for long periods without feeding, it will destroy structures, possibly in order to render them down for sustenance. Likewise, if SCP-1135 has been able to consume large amounts of waste, it will start to construct new buildings and improve existing ones at an increased rate. If humans or animals cause substantial or repetitive damage to structures formed by SCP-1135, the organism will begin to construct elaborate traps in order to ensure, drive off, or kill attackers. Oh shit! It's a whole... it's a giant mimic village. These range from simple pitfalls and caltrops to elaborate traps which would indicate complex intelligence in a human. These traps will, if not triggered, disappear within a period of 20 to 30 days. Outside of this circumstances, SCP-1135 is never hostile or dangerous to human life. Additionally, SCP-1135 appear to be able to differentiate between damage caused indirectly or directly by living organisms. Okay, so if somebody tripped and then just had a pickaxe and just smashed the window by accident, then the house is like, it happens. But if you then take the same pickaxe and be like, well, while I'm here, might as well hack this wall away, then it's gonna be like, you wouldn't like that. Booby trap. Boom! And damage caused by other force. These findings suggest that SCP-1135 may possess some form of intelligence, but this is unproven. SCP-1135 was discovered on after a reporter investigated eight efforts in the area, recorded interviews with local residents claiming that buildings grew overnight. SCP-1135 had an estimated population of, at the time of its discovery by Foundation operatives. Residents interviewed reported that the village had possessed anomalous properties for a year prior to Foundation intervention after the village had been the site of sustainable housing development scheme orchestrated by an organization by the name of the Mana Charitable Foundation. The Mana Charitable Foundation is apparently fictitious, and no attempts to identify those who involved in the scheme have been successful. All residents of SCP-1135 were expelled and administered Class A or Class B amnestics, depending on how long they had lived in the village. All 8 schemes in the area since have been monitored by the foundation, although no anomaly. This is the full version, okay. No other anomalies or any further information regarding the minor charitable foundation have since come to light. When I said this is the full version, I meant about the song. So that sounded weird saying that out loud without any like context. Following the routine observational expedition carried out on several buildings appeared to have developed security cameras on the outer walls and in certain indoor areas of the village buildings. These cameras have been observed to track waste disposal and research teams as they move through the village and to conduct periodic sweeps of the village when undisturbed. Requests to dismantle one of the cameras for research purposes are currently pending approval by Dr. It's the Mushroom Kingdom, I tell you that. I tell you what. Disaster, sonic boom. From disaster. Subjective directional gravity. So, I guess it's gravity. It's a directional gravity that depends on the person. Depending on the person, like the gravity might just be whatever over the place for you. SCP-1136 specimens are contained in separate 1 × 1 × 0.5 meter terrariums secured within an isolated soundproof chamber at site. All fixtures within SCP-1136 containment room must be bolted down or otherwise secured against shifting during a localized directional event. Experimentation with SCP-1136 requires prior permission from at least 2 Level 3 senior researchers, and personnel within SCP-1136 containment area must wear magnetized boots or otherwise be secured against possible shifting. SCP-1136 appears to be a species of small lizard similar to Hemidactylus fredatus, common house gecko. Okay, thank you for just telling me. And is physically indistinguishable other than its anomalous property. When specimens of SCP-1136 are startled or frightened, they cause gravity within a radius of approximately 7 to 8 meters to align itself with its orientation, without affecting the specimen itself. So, what do you mean? I assume if the gecko's on the ground and it does this, gravity stays the same. But if it's on the wall, whatever wall it's on, the gravity will switch to that. So like if the gecko's on this wall I'm looking at right now and it's scared, I would just be like, oh! everything here would just fall onto this wall. Align itself without its orientation without affecting the specimen itself. This occurs instantaneously without any measurable change in the physiology of SCP-1136 other than that which is normally for a surprise response in normal Hemidactylus specimens. This effect continues as long as SCP-1136 remains frightened, and direction of the gravity shift will continuously change to match its current orientation. -1 was -1 need to wait a little bit. I got some was discovered on 1980 following anomalous reports at a local hospital in Redacted, wherein several children were admitted with minor injuries and limb fractures after reportedly chasing a gecko up the wall of the classroom. Class A amnestics were administered to all affected civilians, and several -1 specimens were located and retrieved from the school. I wonder how they retrieved them without, startling them too hard that the gravity just goes all over, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Addendum 1, Incident Log 12. Let me check something. Okay. On Doctor accidentally dropped a clipper while watching -1's enclosure, stalling it and causing it to run up the wall of its terrarium. During the subsequent gravity shift, Doctor was thrown against a nearby wall, which further stalled the -1, resulting in a cyclical gravity shift that continued for several minutes. Doctor was finally removed and treated for multiple bone fractures and severe concussion. Yeah, I mean, he got basically pinball machined inside a room. Addendum to Experiment Log 21. -1 was successfully bred with a normal male hemidactylus venatus on, and its offspring were determined to exhibit the same amount anomalous properties as the original. So if they were to reproduce, there's more of them. Got something for my... and its offspring were determined to exhibit the same anomalous property as the original. These specimens have been designated -2 male and -3 through 6 female. Addendum 3, Incident Log 19. -1 was found dead in its containment area on, apparently of natural causes. The section of the dead specimens showed no abnormalities or unusual structures. Addendum 4, Incident Log 26. Permission was granted by Side Command to perform vivisection on -4. Upon incision into the specimen's abdomen, they were expunged. Believed to be a short-lived gravitational singularity which caused catastrophic damage to the experiment site. Addendum 5, researchers note, following an increasing number of anomalous incidents reported in the redacted region, it is currently believed that there is a standing wild population of SCP-1136 specimens. A Foundation containment team has been assigned to the area, but due to its small size of SCP-1136 and its similarity to mundane hemidactylus specimens, complete containment of all wild specimens is expected to be extremely difficult, if at all possible. Doctor, senior researcher. I would hate to just walk around, see a gecko, and be like, oh, look at that little cutie, and then just want to like get a little bit closer just to like have a better look at them, and then just panic, run up the wall, and next thing you know, you're like just surely like falling towards the wall. Like, I would hate that. Perfect sphere. Let me check some stuff. So what is it saying here? Okay. Just checking if Champs is watching. I have no idea if she's watching. If she is, hi. Okay. Perfect sphere. I kind of want to imagine like a sphere that's floating and it's indestructible. And it is perfect. So there's a colt around it. A floating ball with a colt that makes it impossible to destroy. That's my guess. Yesterday I had a couple of good guesses. Like, I actually guessed correctly, but today I feel like I'm nowhere near that. SCP-1137 is held in a locked box in item storage locker 8A at Site 19. Level 3 clearance is required for access to SCP-1137. It requires no extraordinary physical measures to contain it. However, due to its mutic qualities, knowledge of SCP-1137's true nature is to be tightly controlled among personnel. See Document 17 for a detailed description of anti-mutic safety standards. For a moment I thought it was Morse code, like there was somebody like there was like a light going on and off, but then I looked over and it's like all that happened is that multiple cars passed by. That's all that it wasn't. It requires no external physical measures to contain it. However, due to its memetic qualities, knowledge of SCP-1137's two natures to be tightly controlled among personality document. Yeah, I read that. Okay. Just double checking. SCP-1137 is a blue glass sphere approximately 10 centimeters in diameter. No ordinary observers. Two ordinary observers. Excuse me. It does not appear to have any special qualities, nor does it pose any risk. It is possible to take measurements of its material composition, weight, opacity, hardness, and once again, there's a lot of epic rappers trying to play today. It is possible to take measurements of its material composition, weight, opacity, hardness, and any other physical properties of the sphere. However, its anomalous properties take effect if any attempt is made to measure the sphere curvature or smoothness or any other properties related to its spherical nature. If anyone does try to measure SCP-1137's physical properties, they will become convinced that it is in fact a mathematically perfect sphere. Okay. They believe that measurements consistent return results confirming this regardless of the accuracy of the measuring device being used. Due to the memetic nature of SCP-1137, it is unknown whether SCP-1137 actually possesses these dimensions or whether observers merely interpret the measurements as such. Small samples taken from SCP-1137 also display its memetic properties and do not seem to affect the perception of the shape of SCP-1137. It is not actually necessary to perform the measurements oneself for the subject to fall under SCP-1137's memetic influence. Merely being told that its shape is physically impossible is enough for the memetic agent to take root. However, transmission in this fashion requires the listener to understand the reasons why a perfect mathematical sphere cannot exist in material form. Thus, memetic transmission to a subject without a scientific background is unlikely. It is also possible to circumvent the memetic agent by specifying that SCP-1137 only appears to be a perfect sphere when measuring, without actually stating outright that it is such. Once infected, subject will become obsessed with the fact that although all measurements indicate that SCP-1137 is a perfect sphere, it is physically impossible for this to be the case. This paradox will become deeply ingrained in the subject's mind. The subject will attempt to disprove this inconsistency, resulting to more and more accurate tools. Researchers have been recorded utilizing equipment including the on-site electron microscope in these endeavors. Despite this, they will never be able to perceive any results other than those indicating SCP-1137 is a mathematically perfect object, even when performing measurement at the picometer level. After extensive testing during which they are unable to prove their conviction, the subject will eventually decide that SCP-1137 nature must actually be possible. At this point, the secondary memetic properties of SCP-1137 will take effect. The subject will slowly require the compulsion to reproduce an instance of SCP-1137. Subject with proficiency in physical craft, example sculpting, glassmaking, metalworking, will begin by attempting to produce a perfect sphere in that medium. Subjects without prior experience in crafting will attempt to learn. Oh, I just missed something. I just realized. I missed the old man from Dr. Stone. The little guy. The little old man who is all like, oh, this is an interesting. What are you trying to do? And it's like, oh, don't you want to know? We're trying to. And then he's just like, oh, just pure muscle. He's like, oh, I'll handle it. I don't know why, but in the moment I read glass making, I was thinking about him, and I was like, I miss him. The subject will continue attempting to produce replicas of SCP-1137, but will always determine that the replicas are insufficiently precise. Subject will increasingly become. Will become increasingly frustrated. Yeah, makes sense. And obsessed with, and will often try to experiment in other media subjects using. Try to experiment in other media subjects. using increasingly unconventional materials, example animal or human remains, to attain their goal. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. Eventually, the obsession is overwhelms the subject's fast process, with the subject foregoing sleep, food, and ordinary bodily functions in order to continue attempting to construction. There was a couple of SCPs that like made you want to like do something, like build something, while ignoring your human needs. Subjects invariably expire either due to starvation or self-mutilation. Because a mathematically perfect sphere cannot actually physically exist, SCP-1137's spherical qualities were at first assumed to be its only anomalous feature. As a result, after being taken into the Foundation possession, researchers were immediately exposed to its memetic qualities. Because the memetic effects of SCP-1137 are first indistinguishable from ordinary scientific testing, redacted. Days passed before the Foundation realized SCP-1137's true nature. Because of this, an estimated individuals were infected. Strict anti-memetic procedures have been implemented surrounding knowledge of SCP-1137's anomalous properties, and a cover story is given to a personnel lacking level 4 clearance regarding SCP-1137's status and true effects. Hey Lexi, I have a question. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Do you think you're down to stream this upcoming Wednesday? Also, I hope you're still there. You might be just lurking around, right? Maybe. Now you've done it. Book of Letters. Book of Letters. I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted, but I also have no idea. Book of Letters. I mean, every book has letters in them. So I no idea what this could be a reference to. Euclid. Okay. SCP-113-8 should be stored inside a safe in Doctor Office in Sector. Personnel with level 2 clearance or higher may access the object for research purposes with Doctor's authorization. Personnel with strong philosophical conviction are to be denied access. Strong philosophical conviction, okay. Personnel should not dispute the object nor question the correctness of the information contained within. Once monthly, a researcher studying philosophical concepts either by duty of service or for personal education should compose an article containing at least references to the object. At least other personnel should familiarize themselves with this article. It must be archived afterwards. Let me ask her on here, actually. SCP-1138 is perceived to be a book of philosophers and or writers' correspondence. Though the writing styles always correspond to a given author, the vast majority of letters are forgeries, with a few found to be genuine unsent drafts. The book author changes based on the scientific and personal interests of the reader, and its contents depend on the reader's belief regarding the author's ideas. SCP-1138 always contains information that contradicts the reader's current beliefs, see addendum. In other words, the reader thinking that a philosopher adheres to a specific opinion will find letters expressing ideas that directly contradicts his, her, or its belief, written out passionately and in great detail. If the reader has no concerns for the philosophical concept, SCP-1138 will contain letters from people to the reader respects, up to his or her parents criticizing his or her of his or her or its life position. Okay. And that's why you don't want somebody with like very strong conviction about philosophy, because they will go, this book will destroy all of the things they believe. Handling and reading the books has various effects. Reading who will completely share the presumed author's views falls into a prolonged depression that they compare to being betrayed by a close friend. More open-minded individuals rejoice at first, sometimes lapsing into euphoria and stating that they finally found the truth, before becoming absent-minded and unable to concentrate. This condition lasts for about a week. Professional researchers who have definite proof of the falsity of SCP-1138's information will experience a strong desire to start a discussion. Should they start it, they look expunged, followed in 24 hours by invariably lethal stroke. The 3 cause of this, they look expunged. Currently, there is no way of finding SCP-1138's neutral form. In the presence of humans and or animals, the book retained its previous appearance. Handling SCP-1138 with a remote-controlled robot led to the book transforming to a tome of Isaac Asimov's letters in which he gave proof that the 3 laws of robotics should not be used in robot creation. First, adherence to the laws will lead to those laws being broken, hence they are useless. Second, robots are more perfect than humans and should not be restrained in the actions regarding humans. The attempts were stopped. The robot and the remote control used in the experiment were examined. Examination showed they look expunged. If there's no scientific article written about SCP-1138 in a month, the object disappears and reappears in the closest library or bookstore that can theoretically contain publications of letters. Therefore, if the book breaks containment, researchers assigned to SCP-1138 should monitor the news and investigate each and every sensational breakthrough in philosophy and history. SCP-1138 attracted the Foundation attention in when the leader of the Communist Party of Hungary released a harsh criticism of is that supposed to be the 6th or F or V.I. Lenin? Oh yeah, Vladimir Lenin. Yeah, Lenin, okay. Claiming that he had found a collection of letters in which... Is that his name? Or did I just say that because, like, that's... No, it is Vladimir Lenin, yeah. Claiming that he had found a collection of letters in which Lenin defined Marxism as a fallacious and harmful theory and proposed cooperation with the capitalist West. Everybody who spoke against his criticism died in 24 hours, making the situation especially suspicious. House was searched through the only anomalous item found was a book that changed its appearance and contents when passed from one person to another. Later, it was found that the object disappears if there isn't any article that references it written in a month. Employees responsible for SCP-1138 got lucky at the books, as the book always appears at sector library was easily found. There are no known cases of the book's appearance before it attracted the Foundation's attention. Some of the most interesting instances... I'm just going to sit like this for a little bit. Some of the most interesting instances of SCP-1138 are listed here. Marcus Tullius Cicero letters in which he claims that every conflict should be resolved through brute force. The search for compromise based on laws and morality was deemed unnecessary. Cat and Armor Toga was claimed to be a stupid joke. Niccolo Machiavelli's letters that explain negative economical, political, and cultural consequences should the medieval Italy become a united state. He also claims that a ruler should act within the law and ethics and never break those rules. Note that the Prince, the book which inspired the term Machiavellianism, is generally thought to have been political satire by scholars. Blaise Pascal's letters describing Christianity as a faith most vile, false, and abhorrent to human dignity. Friedrich Nietzsche's letter claiming that Christianity and Buddhism are the reasons for all humanity's achievement. He also harshly denounces some people's aspiration to be themselves and not belong to the social mass. Fyodor Dostoevsky letters in which he claims that a decent and happy life can only be achieved through denial of the existence of souls and lack of compassion and beneficence. 05 letters in which he requests that all humanoid SCPs within the Foundation custody either be released or terminated. In addition, he claims to have data expunged. Dr. Preliminary conclusion. Currently, we cannot determine if the object is sapient. Maybe it is sapient and creates information that contradicts our beliefs in order to provoke us to argue and become its victims. If that's the case, killing is a way of sustaining its life, and the object behavior is the way it hunts. Maybe the object is not sapient and simply retranslates thoughts from another reality in which philosophers and thinkers came to different ideas. Further study is necessary. Yeah. Philosophical debate and philosophical argument is on a very fine line. They're separated by a very, very fine line. Setup looks great, thank you. Last one, the broken tongue. Well, there's the Church of the Broken God. So maybe that's part of that. There's a connection to that, maybe. Oh, it's one of my favorite songs. Shine. Not too long, not too wrong. Not too old, not too young, that's what it was. Yes, the moonlight, far away. I can hear your call. I'm gonna think it's a connection to the broken God. Yeah, it is. Okay, hopefully it's not too long. It's not. I mean, this is doable. I'm just feeling like a bit drowsy. I decided to start recording for my reactions and stuff on Monday, Tuesdays is other days when I record things. Because if I record on the weekends and then I have because I usually try to be as upbeat and energetic as possible on the recordings. If I do that and SCP readings in the same night, I usually get super exhausted and I'm so tired now. I can't wait to just lay down. Euclid. By authorization of O5, object is housed at Research Area 39. Following incident -1, object moved to Research Area when not being used for testing. Object is to be enclosed in a 75 by 20 by 20 centimeters block of rubber molded into 2 pieces with a Faraday cage surrounding the block, placed on a static free workbench. The containment room for the object shall be made of unreinforced concrete, minimum thickness of 3 meters, and shall be illuminated at all times by gas lamps. The humidity levels shall remain between 70% and 80% at all times. The door to the SCP-1139's containment room shall be made of non-conductive high-impact ceramic materials. Following incident -1 access is via 3 containment doors, the othermost door consisting of steel with a metallic threshold ground in case of electrical discharge. The 2 innermost doors are to be constructed of non-conductive high-impact ceramic materials. No electrical devices, including pacemakers, watches, or recording devices, are to be brought into the containment room except for testing purposes. In no event may an electrical device be capable of creating an alternating current be introduced. In no event may an electrical device capable of creating an alternating current be introduced to the containment room without authorization of 105 personnel. In no event may an electrical device capable of producing more than 1,000 watts be introduced to the containment room without written authorization of 205 personnel. Research area shall remain equipped with 2 lightning rods at all times, neither of which shall be commanded within 200 meters of SCP-1139. Following test I, and by order of O5, the staff of each Foundation site must include 1 level 3 staff member previously affected by SCP-1206. We're gonna get to you in a couple of weeks, like in a month maybe, I think. Because next week's gonna be 40, 50, then 60, 70, 89. Yeah, in 4 weeks we get to this one. If we haven't, well, if I can, because I'm not sure if in 4 weeks I can still. No, in 4 weeks, end of November, I'm still streaming. Yeah, because for Christmas I probably won't be streaming, because that's, you know, duh. SCP-1139 consists of a metallic gray rectangular block roughly 20 centimeters high and 5 centimeters square at its base. The overall density of the object is roughly double that of iron, and the object is denser near the top. The object has thus far proved impervious to both deterioration and damage, making the determination of the object's age impossible. The sides are patterned with square protrusion in an unrecognized pattern, which can be confirmed by touch. Viewers of the pattern or of photos of the pattern observe the protrusion as block letters in a language they are familiar with, but this is merely a visual illusion. It's just merely an illusion. No subject has reported any subsequent change in the appearance of the letter. On the bottom of the object there are 4 1mm times 5mm crevices, each coated in copper-colored substance. Now, no new effect has been observed through the manipulation of an application of electricity directed to the crevices. Upon application of electricity, how much water do I have left? A direct current object affects all individuals within a given radius through unknown means. Any person within the radius of effect begins speaking and writing in a new language, so they apparently believe they are speaking their native language. Oh, that's why it's the broken tongue. Subject lose the ability to speak or comprehend any prior known language. Linguistic analysis indicates that the new languages are fully formed languages, but all attempts at translation have been met with complete failure. Attempts at translation will continue. Subjects have proven incapable of learning or relearning any real-world language after exposure to SCP-1139. Class A amnestics successfully counteract the effects, though the subjects are thereafter of little use to the Foundation, and Class A amnestics are not advised in future testing. See Experiment Log -1. Or Experiment Log 1. The radius of the effect is exponentially proportional to the wattage applied to it, with a static shock creating a radius of 8/10 or 0.8 meters, and a direct lightning strike estimated to create a radius reaching beyond data expunged, potentially resulting in a redacted scenario. Developing practical methods of containing, controlling, or reversing the effect is ongoing and should be considered a level 3 priority. Possible use as a worst-case scenario planetary defense is under consideration. There we go. SCP-1139 was recovered during Incident 98564-K. Mobile Task Force Delta 5 Frontrunners raided a Church of the Broken God. Yeah. Yes, the Mobile Task Force, Church of the Broken God. That's a... Yeah. That's a church that's... Yeah. More of a cult, but yeah. Outpost in Normal, Illinois? Is that Illinois? I have no idea. A basement contained an apparently demented and violent elderly man holding SCP-1139, who was quickly terminated. In this room were over handmade documents, including stone tablets over years old and modern paper showing a minimal wear. Note that the earliest documents predate the Church of the Broken God by over years. The documents do not appear to be written in any known languages, and different languages have been identified. At 4:30 p.m. on July 28, 1997, over scattered civilian vehicles approached Research Area 39 from both access roads. Research Area 39 was put on blue alert, and procedure Theta Tau was implemented. The 4 ground-level Foundation personnel were initially able to maintain their cover identities when speaking with the trespassers, and discovered that the latitude and longitude of Research Area 39 was distributed was distributed as the location of a youth jamboree. Pursuant to procedure, the trespassers were told that researchers Area 39 was a hunting lodge and that they have been sent to the wrong location. The departure of the trespassers was stalled due to the constant stream of new arrivals. Approximately adults and youths arrived in total. At precisely 4:52, approximately of the adults and of the children pulled weapons from camping gear in an attempt to breach Research Area 39 in a coordinated attack. Battle cries consistent with rhetoric of the Church of the Broken God were heard, as well as reference to the tongue and the voice. A perimeter breach occurred and lockdown was implemented. Mobile Task Force Row 5 Beasting converged on Research Area 39, countering the assault and containing the fleeing civilians with acceptable casualties. The surviving civilians indicate that the revised coordinates were distributed via email and a week prior, though the source of such information could not be effectively determined. The survivors were given Class C amnestics and re-questioned using Church of the Broken God's secret codes. 3 additional members of the church were detected and terminated. Area Command utilized cover story Beta Zeta, and the remaining civilians were provided grief counseling. Research Area 39 decommissioned. See, this is unacceptable. I don't care that the damn church has broken silence. First, we cannot allow this much attention to come down on one of our locations. You better pray this media hype about gun-wielding scouts dies down and reporters don't find Research Area 05. Request upgrade to Keter status. Area supervisors see. Request denied 05. Maybe you should. It's part of the broken God. Maybe you should make it Keter level. Addendum. What is this one part? This is the experiment log. Yeah. Addendum. Subject D02638. Dr. A. And I think it's always Dr. A, so I'm not going... Nope, it's not always Dr. A. So once the doctor's different, I'll use the beep again. Wattage 200 watts of alternating current. Subject exposed to active SCP-1139. Subject grabbed his head and screamed, making a noise that redacted. Included 3 Foundation staff and Dr. suffered from a broken wrist and persistent headaches. Remaining staff placed a quarantine for fear of mnemonic properties. No such properties evidenced themselves, and staff were released from quarantine and returned to duty without incident. Containment and testing procedures revised. Subject... Oh wait, what was the previous one? That was addendum C, this is addendum E. Subject D18394. Dr. A... 200 watts of direct current. Subject is semi-literate prior to test. Subject is told to recite alphabet song during activation of SCP-1139 to confirm exposure. Exposure to SCP-1139 is followed by only non-verbal communication. Subject shows no signs of distress, so displeased by the researcher's silence. Dr. A, after seeing the mild success in rudimentary non-verbal communication, grabbed the closest thing to a picture book from his office, giving the subject a copy of the Voynich manuscript. Subject ignored the pictures and began attempting to read the book, sounding outwards as he went. Notably, he read the book backwards and from the middle of each page outwards. All observations indicate that subject understood the book and found it to have a sad ending. Yeah, I'm so tired. Well, for this one, we use the alphabet in the book. It should be simple enough to learn how to speak to it. Dr. A. 2 months after testing, Dr. A. placed on voluntary administrative leave to distress. Subject D18394 terminated and all documentation locked in a long-term storage. Addendum F. D18328, Dr. A, 200 watts of direct current. Subject asked to write a long memorized phrase down on paper followed by the alphabet and numbers from 0 to 50. Reading each word or number aloud while walking to the table. Subject exposed to SCP-1139. Subject writes out a text of unknown language, speaking as she does so and showing no notice of a change in language. Subjects incapable of speaking English and no effort of reducing. No effort at reintroduction to the English language is made. It is noted that the language from SCP-1139-F is different from all prior instances. We have a Rosetta Stone for this one. This should be simple to decode or prove as a nonsense. Dr. A. 4 months after testing, Dr. A. placed on mandatory administrative leave due to stress. Subject D. 18328 admitted and all documentation locked in long-term storage. Okay. Addendum K. Dr. A, and Dr. L, 200 watts of direct current. Without approval or oversight, Dr. A exposed himself to SCP-1139. It is notable that Dr. A spoke 8 languages fluently prior to the experiment. Dr. L took over as linguist for experiment K. My eyes are having difficulties keeping themselves open. Dr. A exhibits the same symptoms of prior subjects, though he seems shocked by the verbal and written communication of Foundation staff. It appears that Dr. A now knows 8 new languages, and by pointing at different places on an unlabeled map of the world, each new language has been associated with the language he is trying to speak. Dr. A has been unable to communicate beyond non-verbal pantomime and has since lapsed into inactive and depression. Dr. A moved to long-term care medical facility and kept under suicide watch. Addendum I. Is that I or that's L? Addendum L. D17618 and D14568. Dr. 200 watts of direct current. D17618 exposed to SCP-1206 prior to standard exposure to SCP-1139. SCP-1139 has no effect on the subject. D14568 exposed to SCP-1206 after standard exposure to SCP-1139. SCP-1206 had no linguistic effect on the subject. Addendum M. Oh god, I'm powering through right now, gotta be honest. Even rhythm, like the White Jungle music cannot keep me up much longer. So again, D18818, Dr. L acting remotely and assisted by Dr. F to avoid meme-tick contamination. 200 watts of direct current. After standard exposure to SCP-1139, subject infected with SCP-444, which weighs SCP-444 is the language of global harmony. Yeah. Yes. SCP-444 infection continues as normal, with subject able to converse with other SCP-444 infected individuals. Dr. L and Dr. F cleared of meme-tick contamination and remain assigned to SCP-1139. Further use of SCP-444 in testing approved. Addendum N. Same person, Dr. L, acting remotely and assisted by Dr. F to avoid meme-tick contamination. 200 watts of direct current. Subject F. Okay. Shall we? Have been infected with SCP-444 days prior after exposure. Subject spoke a new language with no immediately apparent anomalous properties. Continued observation revealed redacted. Facilities included Foundation personnel, and contamination necessitated termination of an additional Foundation personnel. Dr. L clear of meme-tick contamination and remains assigned to SCP-1139. Use of SCP-444 in testing suspended by order of 05. And addendum Q. Oh god. Okay. D29374, D93847, D20375, D20385, and D29385. 84. Linguist Dr. 400 watts of direct current. SCP-1139 activated carefully to affect 4 of the 5 subjects. Subject quickly realized that none of them understood each other, understood the others. The unaffected subject acted visually identical to the others despite still speaking English. Long-term remote surveillance commenced without meaningful external verbal stimuli. Subjects exhibited typical reactions and analogous to solitary confinement and development of a crude hierarchy-based society. Redacted. D20375 terminated following experiments and corpses incinerated. Request upgrade to Keto status, Dr. L. Request denied and pull the plug on this sideshow. If you want to a long-term test subject, use Dr. A. 05. And we're done. I'm sorry, I apologize for like how tired I was. I am. I can't even speak anymore. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just say, let's just go fast because I'm about to fall asleep. I'm holding on with my dear life. Intravenous, I always forgot how to say this word. Sin. I the idea of of the 7 deadly sins having a role with it and taking certain aspects away or adding certain aspects to you. It's pretty cool. I really love this idea. A handy shortcut, yeah, no, that's pretty cool too. Because like I think I would not use a door because I would just be too scared. But hey, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But if you get chased by something inside there for 2 weeks, I don't think that's really worth it, is it? Lead paint, I just really love how with lead paint they gave it a little bit of the twist of the eat lead phrase. And the fact that the painting becomes bullets, pretty cool. Subjective directional gravity, I think that one is hilarious, but I would also really hate to be at the end of that. You know, imagine you just get flung around because every time you get too close or you make a loud noise around them, they fucking dash. I listen to music like this as well, so they might that gecko is gonna make sure I can't listen to anything afterwards anymore. Snake tongue. At first I was a bit confused what snake tongue meant, like as in like, oh, what's like the like all this area in this area basically like part snake, like, you know, like scale and all that stuff, but then like it still has a human skull, but human head. But nope, it's just a snake inside your body and your mouth and your throat. The Oscar bug. I still think it would be I would have a whole different reaction if I woke up with 10 other me's in the same room. And it is Jurassic Park. It's just Jurassic Park with humans. Living Village, Mushroom Kingdom. That's all I gotta say. Perfect Sphere. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I understand what they mean. I guess like the perfect sphere doesn't exist because technically a perfect sphere should never have any indication of when you draw a sphere and then you zoom in, like for example on Photoshop, when you zoom in you can see little edges where the sphere was like trying to curve, which means it's not, it looks good, it looks perfect, but it's not. The broken tongue. I'll be honest, I'm a bit too tired to like even like memorize everything that happened in the broken tongue. I know what happened, but yeah, my mind's just dead. Book of Letters the same. Like I know what happened, but my mind said. I mean, at the end, the Book of Letters, it shows like, oh, you really think this philosopher knew what they were doing? Think again. And next thing you know, you get super aggressive for that. But yeah, okay, I need to go because I am about to like just fall over. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Thank you so much for Anon and Lexi for watching. And there was a fourth person occasionally jumping in and out, but I'm not sure if that was Champs or if that was somebody completely else. But for now, I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, evening. I hope I'll see you with next on Wednesday when Lexi and I will continue some Played Up. And